It's me, your void. It's time to be spooky. Before you ask, no, I cannot see anything out of this eye. It's about to be October, and October is my favorite time of the year. In terms of vibes, not necessarily in terms of weather, because I do like myself a good warm day, and October decidedly has none of those. But we're not here to talk about the weather and my weather preferences. We are here to talk books. It is October, and therefore everyone, their dog and their mom, is doing, making, creating, hosting a spooky Halloween-themed readathon. And I decided to participate in only one this year. I did look at the Gothtober game, but the prompts just, I don't know, it was very hard to find something that would fit the prompts in most cases, and the way the prompts were phrased was just very hard to interpret, so I decided, nah, not gonna spend any brain cells on that. I have a readathon that already needs all of my attention. The readathon I'm talking about is SCAREathon by Jess from This Kiwi. SCAREathon is kinda hard because it is designed to get you out of your comfort zone. And I love my comfort zone. It's very comfy in there. But Jess is very good at kicking me out of that, and I hate you for that, Jess. I hate you for that. But this year it is a bit easier than last time. Last time you had a 24 square bingo board. You still have a 24 square bingo board. This year it's called the Big Scare, and the goal is to hit as many of these prompts as possible. You cannot double up within the board. And you see some stuff like snuggle up there or take a break. You still have to read a book for those. So it's a demanding readathon. But Jess thankfully made it a tiny bit easier this year by creating 3 smaller boards, which is 3 by 3. And you get an easy one, a medium one, and a hard one. The easy one, in my opinion, is harder to do than the medium one, but that's neither here nor there. I am currently, as of filming this video, which is mid-September, kind of slumpy. I'm trying to plan for my reading future here a bit, so I decided I'm not actively going for the big scare. Instead, I looked at every single prompt and was like, can I fulfill this? Yes, no, maybe. And went from there. I managed to fill out the medium scare completely, so this is what you are getting right now, which is going to be 8 reads and 1 non-reading prompt. But here's the thing, we are allowed to take the small scares and put them into the big scare, meaning some prompts in the small scares are also on the big scare, meaning you automatically kind of double up. So I will do this 8-book TBR as my main focus. And once I'm done with that, I will check on the big scare and see if I can get at least like a bingo line or something. Because you get points in this readathon. So I'm trying to be tactical mastermind about the things I'm doing here. And again, I also have technically some options for some other prompts. So I'm not going in totally blind. But the only thing I fully 100% planned out is the medium scare. So without further ado, let's get into this TBR, shall we? The first prompt in the medium scare is to read a translated work. And for that, I'm going with Sanctify, Volume 1 by GODSTATION. I desperately wanted to read this since I got it in February, but somehow I never got around to it. This time, I will definitely read it. In Sanctify, we follow a guy that is very much John Constantine-ish, but if John Constantine worked for the police. His name is Lance, and Lance is basically a policeman for the paranormal. He can, I don't know, he can see demons, he can track them down, it's not quite specified in the blurb, but he is an exorcist, and he is called to these strange police cases to figure shit out and banish the demon, I guess. In Sanctify, he is called to a murder investigation that has connections to an infamous cult, and he gets a new partner. Lance is very much a loner, but this time, because it is such a big case, he gets a partner. His name is Jill, and Jill is tasked with A, solving the crime, but also B, make sure that Lance is not turning into the next murder victim. which Lance apparently is very much intent on becoming. Things escalate a little bit because apparently Jill has a dark side as well, and I think he's pretty obsessed with Lance. I'm not quite sure. The blurb is not giving too much away. This is a boys love mystery horror manga? Is it a manga? I think it's a manga. I think it's classified as a manga. The authors are Chinese, so... But it has beautiful art, and I am very much looking forward to reading this, because it looks amazing, and it sounds like something I will very much enjoy. And I wanted to read this since February, I just never got around to it for some reason. So now I will. For the next prompt, I am supposed to steal a prompt from another readathon, so I went and looked at some prompts. Again, I am not really vibing with Gothtober this year, but I found Spooktober. Can you hear the coffee machine in the background? I found Spooktober, and technically you're supposed to like register for this readathon and then like play the game, and then that's like the first half of the month, and the second half of the month is like an escape room or something. I don't know, I just needed a prompt, and wouldn't you look at that? The first prompt on that game board is to read a mystery, horror, or thriller, and I'm taking that one because I want to read Sanctify Volume 2. Yeah, I have the whole series, and given that it took me so long to get to Volume 1 of Sanctify, I'm not taking a chance here. I'm reading Volume 2 right away. I can't tell you any more about this because I just told you everything there is to know about this. I'm not looking at the blurb of Volume 2 because mangas sometimes spoil what is happening in the previous volumes when you look at a blurb, so... Yeah. Lance, loner, exorcist, new partner Jill, might be obsessed. Weird cult murder investigation. The third prompt is to read a TBR veteran, and I have a ginormous backlog of books that I got when I first got my Kindle, and I have to work through those, so I just randomly scrolled, like I have this folder on my Kindle that is uncollected, and I just scrolled all the way to the end after sorting it, and I picked one thing kind of at random, like my screen showed me like the 9 oldest books on my Kindle, and I was like, eh. And I landed on Dom of Las Vegas by... You can see the author for yourself. And this one is a thriller romance? Question mark? I know the cover screams billionaire romance. It's not. I actually read the blurb for once before starting this video. This one is about a guy who desperately wants to work for the FBI. Okay. But for now, he like can't for some reason. So he's earning his money by being an underwear model, but also taking photos for a private investigator. However that checks out. And one day he is tasked to take pictures of this one guy, and somehow this guy pulls him into his orbit, and things are going on from there, and now the main character has to decide between his dream job of being like this investigator for the FBI or falling in love with this guy he is supposed to investigate. I did not quite get the connection there, but alas. That is all I know about this story. It's also only 200 pages long, so I don't know how much story we will actually get from this. And as you can tell by the title, there is a BDSM story involved in here. It is tagged as an erotica on Storygraph, so... The next prompt on this bingo board of scariness is a random color generator. At this point, we all know that I'm not too big a fan of anything randomly generated, but alas, I submit to the power of the scare, I guess. So let's see what kind of color I have to pick. I mean, I already know, so perceive. I kid you not. The laugh I laughed when I saw that it is red. Since I started this channel, every single random color wheel generator has given me the color red. I think I only ever got a different color once, and it was like yellow or something. I don't know. But I always get red. Ha! Anyway, for the color red, I picked up Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. I know at least one person who is going to scream right now should she decide to watch this video. Yes, I am finally picking up Cemetery Boys. I'm finally reading Cemetery Boys. This has been on my shelf for a hot second, but I was waiting for a friend of mine to be ready to read it with me because she wanted to buddy read it. She actually gifted it to me. So I always skipped this in the rotation of readathons, but now it is finally time. It's finally time I'm reading Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. Cemetery Boys is about a guy who is trying to prove himself as a brother to his family by summoning his cousin's ghost and helping him move on to the afterlife, but something goes wrong, so he summons a classmate, schoolmate instead, and that classmate is kind of upset that he is dead, or wants revenge or something. He's not happy with the fact that he's dead and supposed to just move on. So they have to, I guess, figure out what happened to him or something like that. Murder mystery-esque? I don't quite know. And throughout this presumed murder investigation, these two guys kind of fall for each other, I think. The next prompt is like the titular thing for this readathon. Again, the readathon is designed to get you out of your comfort zone, and this prompt, uncomfy, wants you to read something that is outside of your comfort zone. You can't be any more clear than that, right? For this one, I am kind of stretching it, because I had my little non-fiction phase at the beginning of this year. I'm still not all too comfortable with picking up non-fictions, so it happens very rarely nowadays. So I'm picking up a non-fiction, namely Heroes by Stephen Fry. I already read 2 other books in this series about Greek mythology by Stephen Fry. I read the one about the gods and I read the one about Troy. So now I'm going to read the Heroes one, which is a non-fiction book about the heroes of Greek mythology. And I have found that Stephen Fry is breaking down the whole mythology with such ease. Like, it's very easy to follow and it is very funny. I can recommend the audiobooks, which are read by himself. But yeah, it's kind of uncomfy that I have to read a non-fiction for that. But not too uncomfy. I have to be nice to myself, okay? I'm teetering on the edge of a reading slump. Don't come from me, Jess. The next prompt is inspired by Jess's Read the Beats series, which I have participated in before. And Read the Beats is usually like a tiny little game where Jess gives you 3 songs and you have to interpret these songs as reading prompts, and then you have to read 3 books and you give Jess 3 songs in return, and same procedure. For this specific prompt, it is not that Jess has given 3 songs and we give Jess 3 songs. This level is like level 2. Level 2 means go to Jess's channel, find the playlist of Jess's favorite songs, and scroll until you find one that inspires you to pick up a book. And for that one, I went like this. When I saw the Monster Mash in there, I immediately knew what I wanted to pick up for that. It has nothing to do with the song, nothing to do with the artist, nothing to do with the cover of the song. No, it has everything to do with monster and mash. Monster mashing, if you know what I mean. You will in a second, because for this song I'm going to pick up another Creature Cafe book by Clio Owens, namely Little Risk of Fall. If you know me, if you have been around my channel for a hot second, you will know that I love the monster romances that Clio Owens puts out, and that I have been reading the Creature Cafe for a hot second. In this installment, Little Risk of Fall, we follow an orc and how he finds his mate through the barista. In this one, we follow these 2 characters and we get Orc Highland Games. It's a novella, nothing more is happening. They are going to Orc Highland Games, they are going to probably bonk a lot, and Lucifer is going to do shit in the background. That is it. That is all I can tell you about this novella. Be aware, Clio Owens, when Clio Owens writes monster romance, there is monstrous anatomy in there. The next prompt is another random one. For this one, we need to roll a dice. I was not brave. I did not use a d10. I stuck with the classic d6. And it went like this. A 3. Solid middle field. Meaning I have to read something that is between 200 and 299 pages long. I can very much live with that, because guess what has somewhere between 200 and 300 pages? Sanctify Volume 3. Again, what can I say? It took me so long to get to Volume 1 that I want to continue the series right away. This is Volume 3. It's still about Lance and Jill and whatever weird religious obsession is going on with demons in the background, I guess. Then we have the non-reading prompt, which is exercise, which only means, do something that requires you to move your body. Post about it on the Discord, I guess. Yay. And the last prompt is to read something that has a minimal cover, so it is a cover that does not distract from something. Minimal cover! Look up the definition of minimal if you have to. For this one, I'm going to reread a book because the series is quite long and I do have technically the newest installment in the series that follows this series, but it has been a hot second since I read it and I'm not confident in just picking up this book before rereading the series because I'm pretty sure I forgot a lot about this universe and shit. So I decided to reread the whole series because it is actually a series that I quite enjoyed. It was one of my favorite series at the time, so let's see if that is still the case. So for the minimal cover, I am picking up The Shepherd by Ethan Cross. As you can see, there is nothing on this cover except the title. Given it is the German title, but if I hold it like this, you can see it is just a blank cover in black. The title and the name of the author is actually embossed and then made in like a reflective kind of material where the rest of the cover is matte. So there is nothing on here. I cannot go any more minimalistic than this book. Would have been even funnier if they just completely blacked out the sides instead of putting the title and the author's name on it as well. It's so weird to just hold up a black blob of book. In this one we follow 2 characters. One of these characters is, I think he works for the FBI at the beginning of the series. He is law enforcement and he is called out to this tiny town in the middle of nowhere, or he just is there and crime happens. Anyway, we are in a small town and crime happens and this guy is in the middle of it and he has like the inclination to fix said crime. Not as in making it better, but in actually figuring out who done did it. And the other person we follow is a serial killer, a prolific serial killer named Francis Ackerman. And good old Francis has been made a serial killer by his dad, who wanted to prove the theory that you can make a serial killer. That it has nothing to do with your nature, but everything to do with the nurture. So he just tortured Francis as a child, taught him how to kill in any kind of way. Like, Francis pretty much knows how to kill in every way possible. And then Francis Ackerman was rescued from his dad, but the damage was already done, and a teenage Francis Ackerman escaped from multiple psychiatric holes and is now out and about and uses all the skills his dad has basically cut into him to kill people all across the United States and not get caught. So we follow the story of these 2 men going head to head. And it is very hard to tell you what this book is about without spoiling the big twist in this one. So yeah. And there you have it. My cute little October TBR for the medium scare of the SCAREathon. As I have said, these can all be placed in the big scare in one way or another. So once I'm done with this, I'm probably going to look at how I can get at least a bingo line somewhere. I may or may not go for another small scare, who knows? Pretty unlikely though. Anyway, I'm rambling. This is my TBR. I'm probably also going to read another installment in Sanctify because I have the like prequel, sequel, novella, Paradise Lost, which is a bit shorter than the rest, but yeah. I mean, if I already read the whole series, why not finish it out, you know? Would be very bad if I didn't like the first one. But yeah, this is my TBR for October. If you made it this far into the video, let me know if you are participating in any readathons, if so, which ones, so I can check them out, because there are so many in October, it is hard to keep track of all of them. If you don't want to talk to me at all for whatever reason, leave a ghost emoji down in the comments below. And yeah, I guess I will see you in the next video. Bye.